Great night to everybody. Where are you there? Da-da-da-da-dee.
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Great. There you are. What's up, Carla? How's everything?
Everything is okay, teacher. It's Friday.
It's Friday. Finally.
Yeah.
Yes. We need to relax. We need to finish our week and ready for the weekend. What are your
Yes.
plans for the weekend?
Tomorrow we'll meet with some members of my family.
Mhm.
We will cook meat with them.
Nice.
Yes,
Good.
in the afternoon, but I hope the climate will be great because the last days in the city was crazy, no? Because there was a lot of raining. Raining
Yes.
is right or
Rain.
rain?
Just rain.
Rain.
Yeah. Yeah, there has been a lot of rain these days. And today was a little bit also wet, but let's hope you can do your barbecue.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Very nice, very, very nice. What about the rest? Well, how's Elsie? How's Brian? How's Mitch? Is everything good?
Hello.
Hello. Very good, brother. Very good. When I hear that, I hear that you are okay, which is nice. That's the most important part.
Oh,
Very good. Okay, let's begin. Let's inaugurate our weekend with a little bit of listening practice. As we saw last week, listening is about getting literal expressions and answering these questions literally. On the week, I sent you, on Monday, I sent you your vocabulary. I really hope you had some time to study it, to review it, to check it out together with the video so you can understand the video today. These are the 4 questions that we are going to solve today. And we need to do it with a specific information that we have in the video. So let's watch it one last time. And I suggest to take notes. Everybody take your handbook or your notebook, and whenever you're ready, send me a little reaction saying that you're ready to listen to the video. Open your notes and let me know whenever you're ready. Okay, Carla's ready. Meanwhile, everybody gets ready. Carla, please read the 4 questions. Carla, could you help me?
Sorry, teacher. I
Right.
didn't say sorry.
Good. So help me read the 4 questions. Meanwhile, everybody gets ready.
Okay. The first one is what had happened before the COVID-19 outbreak was declared as pandemic. And the second one is what are COVID-19 symptoms? The third is how long those symptoms take to manifest? And the last one, how is COVID-19 transmit?
Transmit is present. How do you pronounce it
Transmitted?
best? Perfect. Repeat.
Transmit.
Extra
Transmitted?
syllable. Exactly. That
Transmit.
extra
Okay,
syllable. We need to check how to pronounce regular verbs, right?
right.
No problem. We're going to check that later. But this one is TEP.
Okay.
Okay? Don't be shy. Just express it. Complete.
How is COVID-19 transmitted?
Perfect. That sounds much better. So all this information is information that you know already. It's different to know it in our mother language than to use English words to express them. That's why we are going to get this video in order to understand how important it is to get literal information so you can catch more words. So let's begin listening to the video. Ready? Let's go.
On March 11, 2020, the World Health Organization made an announcement.
In the past 2 weeks, the number of cases of COVID-19 outside China has increased 13-fold. COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
The coronavirus, or COVID-19 disease, had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy. And this was a warning to other countries where it was now spreading quickly.
In the days and weeks ahead, we expect to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries climb even higher.
The spread of COVID-19 was no longer something that could be stopped. But we can still slow it down. We just have to act right now. Someone with COVID-19 usually develops a fever and a cough. Aches, pains, and other mild symptoms are also possible, but are less frequent. But the severity of those symptoms varies, and for some people who get the virus, you might never show symptoms at all.
Based on the data from China, the vast majority of cases are not life-threatening. In 80% of cases, people experience only mild disease, but in 20% of cases, the disease can manifest in a more serious way. It can develop into quite a severe pneumonia where people need to be hospitalized and put on ventilators.
Overall, it seems like about 1 to 2% of known cases lead to death, but that rate is much lower for young people and much higher for the elderly.
And it also seems that people with unmanaged underlying chronic diseases, they also have a tougher time overcoming the virus.
The virus also seems to be very contagious, more contagious than the flu.
All you need to do to spread COVID-19 is cough or sneeze on someone else, touch a surface where the virus still lives, and then put your hand in your mouth or your eyes or your nose.
After getting infected, it can take an average of 5 to 6 days before you feel sick and your symptoms start to appear. But you can already spread it to people in that period, even if you feel healthy.
Just as people realize they're sick, they seem to be at the most risk of passing it along to others.
That's how the virus has been so effective at spreading across the world so quickly, and why the WHO was now calling COVID-19 a pandemic. But what they said next was just as important.
We cannot say this loudly enough. All countries can still change the course of this pandemic.
And that depends on something each of us needs to do as individuals.
So diseases become really dangerous when everyone gets sick at once and the health system becomes overwhelmed.
In any hospital, the capacity to treat patients is limited by how many beds they have. Think of this as the number of beds in your local hospital at any given time. A couple are already filled by patients receiving treatment for things like a car accident injury or a stroke. And this dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19. But they don't feel sick right away and might not for several days. So later they go to a basketball game where they unknowingly infect 2 or 3 more people. Most of these people will have relatively mild cases, but one might be an elderly person with a severe case who will eventually have to go to the hospital. But these 3, who are all infected but don't feel sick, go out again, on the subway, into the office, and then out after work, infecting several more people, 20% of whom will need to go to the hospital. Over a short period of time, this process multiplies the number of people going to the hospital each day. Before long, the hospital is full and a crisis begins. People with severe cases of COVID-19 can't get treatment, and some who could be saved die. Plus, people with other issues can't get treatment either, and some of them die. This surge of severe cases causes avoidable deaths. That's what happened in South Korea, Iran, and Italy, all of which went from 100 to more than 5,000 cases in less than 2 weeks.
That's enough. The answers to these questions were up to this point? Okay, let's begin. Everybody will have 3 chances to tell me any of the answers that you had in these questions. Make sure to make it literal. Okay, let's begin with Elsie. Elsie, you are going to tell me what is the answer to number 1. What did you get to number 1? What had happened before the COVID-19 outbreak?
I don't know, teacher.
Okay, which question do you have more information about?
How long do the symptoms take to manifest?
Very good. And what answer do you have?
5 or 6 days, but I don't remember the sentence.
The sentence. Good. That's actually the answer. 5. Can you say that again?
5 or 6 days.
Okay, let's get that answer and confirm if it's right.
Okay.
Listen to this.
But that rate is much lower. Getting infected, it can take an average of 5 to...
Your hand in your mouth or your eyes or your nose.
After getting infected, it can take an average of 5 to 6 days before you feel sick.
After getting infected.
Very good.
Only have one.
Okay, there we go. So what, I'm going to give you a tip that's going to help you and everybody. Try to find the verb of your, of the sentence. Whenever you have, for example, in this case, you have after getting infected. That's the subject of the sentence. Let's find the verb so you can identify new verbs, phrasal verbs, especially because in this case we have a phrasal verb. And okay, again.
Through your nose.
After getting infected, it can take an average of 5 to 6 days before you feel sick.
After getting infected can take?
Yeah, very good. Correct.
I heard it can take.
You are correct.
But
actually.
Very good. Infected, it can take far.
Do you know why we use it?
It can take it the symptom.
The symptom wrong. When you say it, we are talking about the time. That's why we say how. Now, what's the question for time? What time is it?
Okay.
For that reason, we use it. Right. So after getting infected, it can take 5 or 6 days. I would like you to pay attention on this connector because it's not or and the complement.
Okay.
Okay, second repetition.
Through your nose.
After getting infected, it can take an average of 5 to 6 days before you feel sick.
Average, it can take
You write it.
An average
yes, of course.
5.
Very good, listen. An average, because average is countable. 1 average, 2 averages, 3 averages. Exactly.
Okay. I have the last.
Actually, that's your third. Do you have more revision?
Oh, no.
So you finished. Good job, eh? Good job. So you have, let's say, more than 70% of the sentence. We are only missing the complement, and that connector doesn't match. Okay, so let's help Elsie, guys. Brian, what do you have? Do you have the rest of the information?
I hope. After getting infected, it can take an average of 5 to 6 days before you feel sick.
Very good. Good job, eh? Good job. The connector to is used because you are talking about an average. So take everybody notes. When you are talking about averages, you're going to use a connector to. When you're going to talk about a range, does anybody know what is a range?
Yes.
What is a range?
Space, or you have an initial limit and an end limit.
An initial limit, an end limit. Sounds weird. An end limit. Okay,
You have a
I
start
like it.
and finish. All the way from the start to the finish is your range.
Exactly. It's a series of numbers or moments, right? Precisely as you say, with a start and an end. It's not a finish because finish is a verb. From a start to an end. That period is called a range. Every time you talk about a range, you need a connector from and the connector to. Connector from to begin and connector to stop. Take a note. That is a collocation. One of the objectives of this lab. Good job. Let's go to the next. Brian, which other question do you have the answer to?
I think I have more information for question number 4.
Question number 4. How is COVID-19 transmitted? What information do you have?
Is cough or sneeze to someone else?
Cough or sneeze? What?
To someone else.
To someone else. Is this information from the video or information that you know?
From the video.
I have curiosity about that, huh? Let me see. Okay, let's listen to the
video. And your health
passing in
and why the WS does important. It depends on something.
Diseases.
In any hospital, the capacity to treat patients is limited by how many beds they have. Think of this as the number of beds in your local hospital at any given time. A couple are already filled by patients receiving treatment for things like a car accident injury or a stroke. And this dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19. But they don't feel sick right away.
This is the answer.
Oh, I hear the woman that says something like,
oh, okay, but okay, I know what part you're talking about. You're talking about this section when she's talking about coughing or sneeze.
That's
The reason I'm not using that section is because there are subtitles.
But that's the answer.
That is the answer. But come on, you're reading, copy paste and finish. Very easy.
That's the answer.
That's the answer. But let's be more specific then. How is the COVID-19 transmitted? Okay. I would change. I will reformulate my question so you can.
Maybe. Maybe that's the problem.
Ah, yes, of course. Subtitles and copy paste. Nah, it's very easy. Let's say, how can healthy people how can healthy people transmit COVID-19? Let's do it as go for his knees. Very bad, eh? Very bad.
Oh, why?
Let's listen to this.
In your local treat patients is limited by how many beds they have. Think of this as the number of beds in your local hospital at any given time. A couple are already filled by patients receiving treatment for things like a car accident injury or a stroke. And this dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19.
Action.
Go outside and subway and that's it.
And that's it. Okay. He never says outside.
Oh.
Exactly. Yeah, that's your vision, your visuals, tricking your vocabulary.
Okay.
Let's go again.
They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19.
Jump into the subway. No, jump. Jump something subway and get into the office.
Excellent. Okay, everything is perfect. That is space that you left over here. Good job. It was not into the subway. He said a different thing. And another thing is the verb get. We never use the verb get. Okay, that was your brain tricking you. So let's erase all this. And let's go to the final repetition. Okay? Let me say hello to the chat because we have a lot of people watching. Say hello, everybody. Okay, 1, 2, 3, action.
They jump on and this dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19.
Go out. It was go out.
Okay.
At the beginning. And then jump on the subway, I think.
They jump where again?
Jump on the subway.
Very good. Yes. Who jumps on the subway? What's the subject?
The healthy person.
Okay, so we don't have that information.
No.
And that's it?
Jump on the subway. Yes, I think. And go into the office, maybe.
And go close. Close. Go into the office. Yeah, that's going to be a different thing. Okay, no problem. That's a good job. So, collocations, guys. Another note for your glossary. Every time you talk about public transportation, you need connector on. So you jump on the subway, on a taxi, on the bus, specifically for public transportation. If you talk about a car, we are in the car.
I was watching a video one day, and the person said that when you can walk on the transport is on. In the case of subway, you can walk into the subway, so it's on. But for example, the taxi, you cannot walk into the taxi, so it's in the taxi.
That's a nice tip. That's a very good tip. So all the type of transportations where you can walk, like, yeah, including a yacht, for example, or a boat. You are riding on a boat. You can walk on it. Wow. That's a good association, bro. Okay. I'm gonna take note of that. Good, 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 good. That's a collocation, you see? Associating words according to the context on the next word that we are talking about. If you're talking about a taxi, a car, then you say in. That's it. So, Brian, good job. You have most of the information. Let's complete the sentence. Let's help him. So, Mitch, you next.
Yes.
They jump on the subway, presents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19.
Decides go out as usual.
Perfect. You said decides, right?
Yeah, before. Yeah. And decides go out as usual. Jump. I heard jump on the subway and head into the office.
Very good. Very, very good. How do you know the verb head?
Because I saw that word in the vocabulary. I didn't know that the head, the word head, is used like an action.
Exactly. And it's a synonym, as a verb, is a synonym of arrive or go. Good job, Mitch. That vocabulary, I think, is B1. So according to the dictionary, it's pretty easy, but yes, I understand that we don't consider that head is actually a verb. Right?
Yeah, that was strange.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome to this level. In this level, there are many words that are strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many.
Help me, God.
God, where is your God now? Huh?
Yeah. I'm praying. Okay.
Continue praying. Let's see if that helps.
So I went to the office and I heard catch COVID-19.
Very good.
And I remember that you catch a cold.
Exactly. That's that's in the collocation lists that we saw this week. Good job.
Yes, and I didn't hear the rest.
That's it. You're doing a great job. Okay. There is something that I want you to pay attention to. Every time you are listening, you need to use your knowledge in order to complete some sections that are missing. In this particular section, you can complete the phrase with your knowledge. Doesn't it seem incomplete?
I guess The people, they.
The subject. Okay, of course we need the subject.
Yes.
But I'm not talking about the subject. I'm talking more about a connector.
Okay. Decides to
Exactly.
go out as
You
usual.
cannot have two verbs together like this.
Yes. Yes.
That's the
Sorry.
point. Good job. So they decides to. So you say that the person is they. No? Grammatically, it's impossible because decides is singular. I decide, you decide, and he, she decides. For that reason, it cannot be they.
She jump.
But now you are assuming the gender. What if it's a woman?
Okay.
Right, exactly. So we need to get, once again, this section. So try to catch these spaces.
Let me.
1, 2, 3, action.
On March 11th, 2020, WHO was now calling individuals how many beds and decides to go out like usual. Stroke. And this dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19.
I'm sorry.
Problem.
My battery was low. So when I connect the charger, interrupts a little bit the connection.
Oh, okay. One more time.
Well.
I'm going to repeat it. Don't worry.
Thank you.
They jump on the sub. Dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19.
I still heard they.
Where?
Decides to go out as usual. They jump on the subway.
Correct.
Okay.
The reason is they can be used for a person that when you don't want to say the gender, if it's feminine or masculine, you can use they. That's why in English, the non-binary people considers themselves pronouns they, them. Because it's not because it's multiple personalities. It's because it's non-binary. So when you're talking about non-singular or feminine or masculine, you use they.
Okay, now I understand that one sentence. I was watching just like that and just like that.
Oh, okay.
And a woman said, then I don't remember the exact sentence, but you have to call me they. And I don't.
You didn't understand why they, no?
Yeah.
I
understand now.
At the beginning, I thought that it was because it was multiple personalities.
Yeah.
And then I understood that actually is not that. Is that we use they when you don't know the gender.
Like in Mexico, ages.
Exactly. In Mexico,
okay.
There will be a they.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know. It's so crazy, so different. Yes, it makes sense. In just like that, there is a lot of LGBT reference.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And I heard where they catch COVID.
Exactly. That also corresponds to the second verb. Good. All right, that's it. Those are your 3 chances. Good job. So the only thing that we're missing is the beginning. For that, Carla, you're going to help us. Now you get the idea, Carla, right? What we are doing is getting the literal information that we have in the video so we can understand collocations, group of words, and applications, right?
Okay.
Let's go.
Subway represents one person in treatment for things like a car accident injury or a stroke. And this dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual.
One person before to decide to go.
Don't tell me before. Just tell me the complete sentence.
One person healthy. I'm not sure, but I decide to go as on this part. But I'm not sure.
Okay. So let's give what? Let's give a pronunciation, okay? Because if you pronounce correctly, you will be able to understand correctly. And many of the mistakes that you usually commit when you speak are going to be solved when you are listening to American people talking. Over here, you have an extra L. Okay, because the word healthy doesn't exist. If you go to the dictionary, you're going to see that word doesn't exist. H-E-A-L-T-L doesn't exist, but L-T-H-Y is.
Okay.
The problem is that also exists healthily. And we can get confused when we listen to people talking. Using the word "ly," I will imagine is the second one. And that can confuse everybody. Later, we're going to see what is that.
Okay.
Let's listen and let's check which one they say.
Okay.
On March 11th, higher for it spreading. Capacity to treat patients are already filled by patients receiving treatment for things like a car accident injury or a stroke. And this dot represents one person who's healthy and decides to go out like usual.
It's health without L.
Good. And you also said something else.
I understood. Represent.
Exactly.
Represent.
Okay. Tell me the complete idea so I can know the location of words.
Okay. Represent one person.
Okay.
Healthy. Decides to go as usual in this time. But I am not sure. But I think is one person who's healthy decides to go, no?
Then you need to obey your instincts because you are correct.
Ah, okay.
The question is, whose or whose?
Who's the second?
The second one, no?
The second one, yes.
Definitely. Then you are correct. Yeah. One person who is healthy. One person who's healthy. If you don't have this whose, it needs to be a healthy person.
Yes.
Right? That's why it's so important to obey your instincts. There is a reason why you heard a syllable there. Now we have the person, right? One person who's healthy decides to go out as usual, right? This first part is like an introduction, but technically we have the answer. If you read the question, how can healthy people transmit COVID-19? The answer is one person who's healthy decides to go out as usual. They jump on the subway and head into the office where they catch COVID-19.
Okay.
Right? What's the beginning of the sentence? We are going to catch it, okay? Let's see if you can catch it. Let's go.
And this dot represents one person who's healthy and
Cuts or cuts, dots. I only listen dots or got, but I am not sure if
What's the first word that you said?
dot or
You're right.
got or but I'm not sure the meaning or if this word
Okay.
exists. Sorry.
B2.
Dot.
Read this. Go, Greta.
Okay, a small brown mark, especially one that is printed. I'm
What do
not
you
sure if
understand?
I understand the meaning.
Okay, read the examples and that you are going to get it.
It's like a um
I what?
maybe like a I'm not sure if this is a synonym, but point.
Excellent.
No. Yes.
Yes,
But
but that's not a synonym.
no,
That's your Spanglish.
Yes, is it.
That was a good observation, eh? That you say, okay, I know the word point, but is it correct in English? That was a very, very good thing. A point in English is more like a thing, like an opinion.
Yes.
Right? But if you're talking about, for example, mathematics, this is going to be definition number, oh, look at this, place, a particular place or area. I'll wait for you at the meeting point. That's very similar to Spanish. Mathematically, land punctuation. A small round mark used in writing. For example, when you say 2.6 or a decimal point.
Okay.
That's why we cannot use point to describe dots.
Okay.
You see? So precisely is the little mark that exists on the letter I.
Okay.
And this is a dot.
Okay.
The graph is using, or the video is using dots representing people who decide to go out usual and so on.
Okay.
Right? My people, we got it. This dot represents, I represent, you represent, and it represents one person who's healthy and decides. We forgot the connector ends. Be careful over there, guys, okay? Connectors are very important. That is also part of your listening, okay? Connectors. Let's go now to the difficult ones. Number one, what have happened before the COVID-19 outbreak was declared a pandemic? This is the part at the beginning of the video when we are talking about the map, this section. So the first person that is going to try to complete it is going to be Elsie. Let's go.
Other countries overwhelmed China.
Pandemic.
The coronavirus, or COVID-19 disease, had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy.
Why you don't tell me?
Oh, I was wondering if I was giving you time to think. You were very focused. I didn't want to break the train of thought.
I hear coronavirus, COVID-19,
Correct.
and something
COVID-19.
spread. I hear the word spread.
Good.
Mm.
I should have said ready, right? Or something. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's complete those spaces. Action.
Virus or COVID.
Characterized as a pandemic.
The coronavirus or COVID-19 disease had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy.
Had overwhelmed. Overwhelmed.
Very good. In present, in past, in future, in what?
Coronavirus or COVID-19 had overwhelmed.
Very good. Very good.
And I hear the places, but I'm not sure about the order. So
okay.
It might.
That's it. No problem. Whenever you have a visual reference, you can use that as a help, so you don't memorize all the information. So let's play it one last time.
Yes.
Virus or COVID.
Characterized as a pandemic.
The coronavirus or COVID-19 disease had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy.
Had already.
Correct.
Had already, but I'm missing. Third.
Is that it?
It? No.
Where?
I don't hear it before, after the 19.
But don't tell me after or before. Tell me complete ideas.
Coronavirus or COVID-19, it had already overwhelmed.
Okay. Eliminate it. The subject of the sentence is coronavirus or COVID-19. Only that it is incomplete. And you have the most important part. The most important part is the verb, which is had already overwhelmed. That's past before past, structure 8. So that's it. Good job. You had most of it. The next person will be Brian. Brian, you have the most important information. You have to finish it.
No.
There is no way. This is easy.
I hear the seed, but I don't know which word make match with that sound. The coronavirus or COVID-19, the seed.
Oh, very nice. Okay, let me help you. Let me check if it's in the vocabulary. I think it is.
I think no. I don't know.
Very bad.
No, it's not the word.
It's not
there.
Here.
No.
It's not here. But probably I didn't put it because it's an easy word. Let me check. No spoilers. I didn't put it because it's A2, the level of the word. Give me a synonym of illness.
Illness?
Illness. When you get sick, you have an illness.
I don't know.
No, you don't have it?
No.
Oh, okay, we need help, guys. Guys, this is an A2 word. Can you help Brian? Do you have the word?
Disease.
Yes.
Good. Yes, Mitch has it. Can you repeat, Carla? I couldn't hear you.
Disease.
You too.
It's
Very
similar
good.
to illness, no?
Yes, of course. So Carla and Mitch, you have it. Disease,
Disease.
an illness.
Okay.
So that's precisely what I mean when we need to analyze word by word so we can catch words, because probably we have some synonyms. We know what is an illness. We know what is a sickness, but then we need to associate now. This is the three are synonyms. And as a collocation, as a group of words, the word disease is usually put after COVID-19 as a chunk together.
Okay.
Let's listen again.
On March 11th,
Now,
really developed
Back to
overwhelmed China, South Korea. Coronavirus or COVID-19 disease had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy.
We never say spread. Tell me, bro, what do they say?
Information.
Listening.
Our COVID-19 disease had already overwhelmed, and the end around Iran or yeah, and Italy. I think I hear South Korea. Yeah.
we have exactly, but which one? Which Korea in what order? Let's listen one last time. Find the repetition.
No.
Yes.
Virus or
be characterized as a pandemic.
the coronavirus or COVID-19 disease had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy.
China overwhelmed China. Oh. South Korea, around Iran and Italy.
South Korea, around Iran and Italy. Okay. I'm going to give you one call of attention. The fact that you are collocating around means that you don't understand overwhelm. Because if you understood overwhelmed, you would understand that it doesn't need a connector. Another thing is that you cannot say China, South Korea, around Iran. You know, there is a connection that doesn't mean anything meaningful. And another thing is that you are like, definitely the final thing is that the reason you are using the word around is because you are listening to the word Iran. And the pronunciation is confusing you on a word similar.
Okay.
In your mind, this is Iran. That's why you are not associating the pronunciation Iran with the real
word.
Exactly. Therefore, this is a listening issue. Okay. Final repetition, and I give you the answers.
virus or COVID-19 disease.
Characterized as a pandemic.
The coronavirus or COVID-19 disease had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy.
You see?
Yes.
Complete the sentence.
The coronavirus or COVID-19 disease had already overwhelmed China, South Korea, Iran, and Italy.
Exactly. This is there, and we erase this, and we have the complete sentence. Ta-da! Good job. Good job. My people, if you want to answer number 2 for homework, you can transcribe it. So you can practice on the weekend, and we are going to meet on Monday. All right. Is there any question? How I can help you?
No, I think not.
Awesome. Keep practicing. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.
You too. Thank you.
You too, teacher.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Teacher.
Bye, guys.
Bye all.
See you later, everybody.